It's Friday, January 10th, I think, 2014. I'm Ken Evans. I'm sitting in, or at least starting things off, for Commissioner Mark Sharp, who's running a little bit late today. Big surprise. But anyway, we've got a great panel here today. I'm not sure what Mark had on the agenda, so I guess he'll fill us in a little bit when he gets here. But we're going to go around the table, do very brief introductions of who's here, and we'll maybe kick things off a little bit talking about EDI 2, since we had the second board meeting yesterday. We can talk a little bit, and I think almost everyone at the table here, except for Fritz, was at that meeting. So we can talk a little bit about impressions about that program and how far it's come in the last couple of quarters. But first, on my left, I have Chris Paradise. I have Fritz Eichelberger, Bill Shaw, Heather Kenyon, and Chris Arnoldi. But I'll let them just go ahead and give a brief introduction of who they are and why they're sitting at the table today.
I'm Chris Paradise, president of Paradise Law, and also the chairman of the EDI 2 board for the county, and chairman of a incubator center called the Tampa Bay Innovation Center, and on the Council of Professionals for USF Connect. Also the president of Paradise IP Solutions, looking for new solutions, and that's my very brief introduction because I could go on and on.
My name is Fritz Eichelberger. I own a local recruiting firm, and for the last 14 years I've been focused on bringing the tech community together through networking events.
Great, I'm Bill Shaw. I'm a local business owner. I have an after-school program where I teach kids Lego robotics. I'm also president and founder of Tampa Hackerspace. We're a local community workshop. We provide equipment, community, and training for individuals and small organizations.
So I'm Heather Kenyon. I'm the CEO of the Tampa Bay Technology Forum, and we have a membership organization representing over 300 member companies in the Tampa Bay region, and we're also a huge advocate for the technology community in the Tampa Bay area.
Thank you, Heather. My name is Chris Arnoldi. I'm the founder of Awesome Media Marketing. We're an online advertising company in Tampa that works with a lot of businesses here locally, but also nationally and internationally. I'm the founder of Cowork Tampa, a co-working loft here in Tampa. We have about 10,000 square feet. We're also hosting Hackerspace in our space, and we're happy to have them there.
All right, thank you everybody for being here today, and we'll get on to some other topics. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about Tampa Hackerspace and their coming to a close Kickstarter program. How many more days left in that program, and how close, or how far above your goal are you, and how close are you to your next stretch goal?
We're at $14,200 as of about a couple of hours ago. Our original goal was $10,000, so we're about 140% funded right now.
Very good.
Our next Kickstarter goal is $15,000. When we reach that, and I say when, not if, Chris and Cowork Tampa has offered to provide a substantial discount to anybody who wants to participate in co-working upstairs, $20 a month for 6 months for their co-working services.
Talk a little bit about all the different programs that Hackerspace is going to be offering once you're funded.
Right, so thank you. We have a lot of different programs, but first and foremost, we have 2 free events that we offer every single week. Tuesday nights we call our open make night, and we're basically open to the public. Anybody can come in to our space, talk to people in our community, see what equipment we have, bring projects to work on. We have a number of group projects going at any given time. They're welcome to come help us with our projects, talk up their projects, pitch projects they have, see what we're about. And on Sunday afternoons, we do the same thing, but we do it for kids.
Very good.
So we have our kids open make on Sunday afternoons. Again, it's a completely free program where we're making the facilities and some of the equipment available. We have some projects set up for the kids to work on. Occasionally, we may have a small project that has some materials or consumables, and there's maybe a few dollars just to cover the cost of the materials, but kids are also welcome to bring their own projects. They're welcome to talk about and explore technology. Last weekend was our first time doing that. We had 15 kids show up. We had a competitive first Lego League team practicing there. We had a half a dozen kids building crazy stuff in Minecraft. We had a couple of kids working on electronics projects. We were having some kids there. They were doing some paper craft things. I'm not even sure what, but it looked very, very fascinating. They come with their parents. Parents kind of engage with them. It's a great family activity. And then throughout the year, we have a lot of other programs. We actually, not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm going to just mention it, got a $20,000 grant to provide technology classes for kids in Tampa Heights.
Great.
We're going to be doing a project for them over the next 9 months. And I can't really, I guess I shouldn't be talking about it because they haven't done the official announcement, but we're excited about that. We are also looking at doing a project with Middleton High School. We obtained a grant for an open ROV, which is a submersible robot. It's literally underwater robot, takes pictures, you guide it with a remote control, and we're going to teach it to become autonomous, and we're going to give it some ability to do image recognition, and we're going to go survey for invasive lionfish species in the Gulf. So we got a group of kids and
And that's how Terminator started.
So really, really fun
Skynet
project.
started right here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great. And one of the great things about the program, and I've been to the space, is it really is about hands-on. So they're teaching classes from sewing to soldering, robotics, helicopters, quadcopters, all sorts of skills that are not stressed, even in technical programs these days, are available through the Hackerspace. So you can learn a lot of different things about building tangible items, and those are all skill sets that have been lost over the years.
If people wanted to find out more information about classes and stuff, how would they get in touch with them?
Bill?
So if you go to tampahackerspace.com, we have our event calendar there. You can sign up also. It links you basically to Meetup. We have everything on Meetup. We have a community of almost 800 participants on Facebook. Also Tampa Hackerspace. If you just look for it on Facebook, you'll find us there. And I should mention that the Kickstarter program is funding more equipment for us. We're getting a laser cutter. We're going to be getting some additional tools so we can do more things with fabrication and additive and subtractive manufacturing.
They're building a great foundation for doing a lot of hands-on work, and I think that's important to, given the investment they're making in some of these products and some of these machines, the number of classes and the types of classes they're going to be able to offer in the future, really, there's no limit to it. So it really is a great resource, and I urge all of you to get out there, take a look at the Kickstarter page, and throw them a couple of bucks.
Chris and I both have kids that are into Minecraft and all that kind of stuff, so we'll be checking it out.
Yes,
yeah.
I have a 6-year-old who loves it.
Yeah.
All right, Commissioner Sharp just walked in, but he is still making his way over to the table. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about EDI2, and he can just kind of slide in here, take my seat. So Chris, I'll go to you. You're the sitting chairman for EDI2, correct?
That's correct.
So can you talk a little bit about this cycle, how it was different than last cycle, the different type of applications you saw, and just overall impressions you have on the program and how well you think it's been taking hold?
We had our second cycle, so that means we received a number of applications in. We're basically about $250,000 per cycle that we're putting into sponsorships in the local entrepreneur and tech community. So that's a great thing. Hopefully we'll get more applications. We can always use more. So especially small groups that are putting on small events, we can fund a lot of those. If it's less than 5,000, then the staff can go through and they can get those out immediately. They don't have to wait for a full cycle. And we're looking forward to seeing a lot more of those. So what we're really looking for are applications for events that are supporting the entrepreneur and tech community. So things where you're bringing people together, even if it's a small thing like this, where you have costs that are other than food and beverage. You're bringing in a speaker, or you're renting a room, or you have some other fixed costs that you need to offset, and the program offsets up to 50% of those. So you still have to bring 50% of your money in through either sponsorships or your own internal budget, but the county will sponsor up to half. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of those, and we could use a lot more small organizations. We've gotten the word out to some of the larger organizations like TBTF and the Innovation Centers, Tampa Bay Wave, incubators. But we'd like to see a lot more entrepreneurial groups like the hackathons and the Hackerspace, those kinds of organizations, sponsor events and really use the money, which is what it's intended for, is getting more of these events that bring entrepreneurs together happening in this county.
In this region.
Well, EDI2 is for the county. It has to be in Hillsborough County. We're looking forward to it being in the whole region. The Hillsborough County money has to be spent in Hillsborough County.
In our plan to take over the world, this has to become a regional event. And obviously any event that's held on this side of the water brings people from all the surrounding counties. And so as we look at EDI2, we look at investments in IT transparency, we look at investments in transit and all the hackerspace, all those different things. They're all very much a Tampa Bay regional effort. And we need the other counties to step up now And it's not just about the funding, but it's about all the different type of events and the people that go to those events. We've seen some great things out of Pinellas County with their Million Cups program every Wednesday, and a couple of other things that are going on throughout the Bay region. But it's a million little things. It's not any one big thing. EDI2 is helping a lot of those million little things happen. Pinellas County, we're seeing that. The other counties are taking part. We just need to kind of turn up the volume on all those efforts.
I'm also the chair of the Tampa Bay Innovation Center, and we do receive county support from through the IDA in Largo, and that does allow us to do things like the Million Cups, which was organized by the Innovation Center along with the community of St. Pete. We're now opening, with help from $400,000 of state money, opening an innovation center in downtown St. Pete, to be announced where that's going to be, but it's going to be announced soon. And then we're also working on a lot of other programs. Startup Exchange still goes on. The Tech Tuesdays that Tampa Bay Technology Forum is doing. The Startup Weekends that are going on. So a lot of those things are going on over in St. Pete. And I don't know if everybody's familiar with what Pasco's doing, but they actually have opened up an incubator space just up in Wesley Chapel area, where they're bringing in companies now with Krista Covey. I always want to call her Krista Hakes, but she's Krista Covey now. So she's managing that program, and that's a good start for Pasco County too. So really, Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough are all starting to do things like this, and are all having events. But it's great that Mark Sharp and the commission stepped up and decided they were going to sponsor some of these events in Hillsborough, which is critical, because if you're looking for money all the time to sponsor an event, you're not organizing and running a good event, which is what you really want to do. You want to run events that people want to come to, not be looking for money all the time.
For someone that's been part of the tech community now for well over 10 years, it's amazing to see all the variety of opportunities and events and organizations that have been created just in the last couple of years. I mean, you used to go to an event and there might be another one a few months later. Now, you look at the calendar and there's multiple events to go to, whether a developer focus, manufacturing focus, WordPress presentation. It's really amazing to see how the region, not just the community, but the whole entire region, even going down to Sarasota, just a lot of energy. I'm just excited to see how it's going to be another 3, 5, 10 years from now. Is that just focus continues to bubble up, because what was always lacking before was the government participation. And not that we need necessarily the money. I mean, we'll always take the money. But just that helping to promote, that emphasis of, hey, the tech community, the business community is impacted by it, the jobs. How do we retain those folks? I left a presentation this morning on recruiting, and honestly, the biggest challenge the Tampa market has is the out-of-state companies that are coming in and recruiting out talent. So it's just all these things that are going on, help engage the community, help build the community. Hopefully we retain that, create startups, and go from there.
Well, and I like to see a greater emphasis on really promoting this region outside of this region. I have Jacob as a friend of mine who sits right out there, who's sitting right out there, but he actually came to Portland, here from Portland, New York, to here, and he cold called me and said, please tell me there's a technology ecosystem, because I'm thinking about moving to Tampa. I had a call yesterday with someone from Los Angeles, same thing. So I think there are a lot of people that will be willing to come here and start companies and are great technologists and that sort of thing, but I think we do ourselves a bit of disservice because people still don't know about this region as having a technology ecosystem.
You're absolutely right, because one of the biggest issues that the economic development groups would have, in my mind, they would go to Chicago and other markets and just put up pictures of the beach during the winter and say, hey, move to Tampa. Okay, great. So
I'll be unemployed on the beach.
Where do you go from there? But now, you could put up this successful company, this startup. Look at the company yesterday raised $80 million. I mean, it's just all these success stories that people don't know about, but it's just a nice way to market and hopefully attract people.
I jumped into the conversation late. I apologize. I was at Hugo's for a Hyde Park Neighborhood Association meeting. Large turnout. One young man who grabbed me, who was part of the wave, said he's got a company, I believe it's called Truck Track. Might have gotten that wrong, but he gave me his card. He said he's going to come to the next coffee we've got here. But what I'm seeing are companies and people excited about autonomous vehicle technology, and now we can make Tampa Bay that place. But yesterday, as we were doing our EDI2, and you did a great job chairing that, Chris, and all these people were participating, talking about making our community a bigger and better, more recognized region for startups. Richard Florida had posted in the Atlantic Cities a piece about how the emerging tech hubs. Orlando made it, and I'm thinking we've got this incredible environment. What's it going to take for us to get on the map so that people will know we're just not the place you come and rob our talent, you come and set your businesses up here. And that's kind of what I want to see for 2014, for us to get on the map. What's it going to take?
Well, we're really at a critical juncture, I think. I think we've come so far, and now we have some things that are happening with the Innovation Center opening up in downtown St. Pete. That puts St. Pete on the map, which was kind of an empty place once the Gazelle Labs project, left. So that's a critical piece for the region. You got the Tampa Bay Wave in downtown Tampa, and perhaps another innovation center moving in downtown Tampa, and the library opening up, that space in the library with the technology space and robotics. You got the Hackerspace. You really have some really good technology companies coming in, and then the VA is also looking to expand. Their RFP just got released yesterday, so I'm going to be looking to see if we can get something started over there in that Genzyme space for a biotech hotel. That could be the anchor tenant, and we'll see if that comes along. But that's a critical piece. You have all these technologies. Moffitt has 4 or 5 companies that need space. They would like to stay in this region. M2 Gen is moving along with its commercialization efforts and going out there and reaching new clients to try and sell their database and sell their tissues so that they can actually be making money and making profits, not just from large pharma, but from many companies. They're really broadening that base. The technology industry is just coming along so much. It's amazing what's going on. We have different, all the way from Sarasota up through Pasco. We have technology companies here that are doing things that are groundbreaking. And I think this is really Tampa Bay's breakout year for all the different things coming together and really putting us on the map.
And I think perhaps taking all of that information and packaging it. It's like if anything is marketing, right? So taking all this great information we just talked about the amazing stuff, and continuing to push that out through social media, through communication, through Enterprise Florida. However,
and I'll say it's metrics, and the metric we always ignore is that this is about products. The Richard Florida thing and his current twisting of data was all about innovation and commercialization.
Data's always twisted.
If we don't focus on products and we just generically go, ooh, we're top in IT, all we're really measuring is, someone that's on the phone saying, how may I provide you excellent service today? So our call centers don't cut it. IT internally at a big company doesn't cut it. It's the products that we're producing. And even in a place like M2 Gen, where they're building software to mine the data, who's building that software? That's the product. It's great that they're selling the data. It's great that they're doing the reports. We need to focus on the smart people that actually ship the products. And without that metric, we're missing the point.
Is that what Hackerspace is doing?
Well, that's a big part of it. We're bringing people together from a lot of different disciplines. It's not just about technology. We want some people in there that have a very artistic bent to them. That's why we're doing classes like sewing. That's why we're trying to bring in more artisans, because the design that goes with the technology, I think, is kind of an important overlooked factor that's very key to successful product launches.
All good tangible skills.
And if you look at manufacturing in general, you go up north, you go into the Northeast, and you just see these wastelands where these massive manufacturing facilities used to be, and manufacturing's changing. It's becoming more personalized. They talk about mass customization and all these things. All this new equipment that's coming to bear, coming to the market, people haven't learned how to use it. There's companies here in Tampa that need employees with basic skills machining products, using CNC mills, products like that, and they don't come out of schools with those skills. They've got great book knowledge, they've got great theoretical stuff, but the hands-on is missing. And we're providing not just the technology, but some hands-on experience and practical skills that a company can use and leverage off of to build a good workforce.
And people don't know that this region really does have a lot of arts. St. Pete is known as one of the best art cities for a city of its size. And what we're trying to do is something similar to what you're doing with the Innovation Center there, is we're looking at calling it a STEAM Center program. So we're looking at science, technology, engineering, the arts, and media. That's our STEAM. You bring all those parts together and you start really boiling and start creating a lot of new things going on, because you have all these different people, the creative people and the engineers, the scientists and the media. And if you bring them together in a way that they can actually collaborate and cooperate and get to know each other, then all of a sudden you just have all kinds of things happen.
Well, it all comes down to co-founders. Are you going to meet someone that is going to help you build your product? and making that happen. And you know, a lot of the focus right now is on teaching our kids coding. That's good. Those are good skills to have, but that's not the end game. I mean, India went through a huge investment in teaching their kids to code. And they're doing all the coding for the products that are created here in the United States and other parts of the world. It's not the end game. The end game is the product.
That's
the
a
end game
cultural
are
difference.
analytical skills and understanding how to solve problems. Coding, sewing, soldering, those are all just tactical things that help you get the product out the door.
And those types of startups don't cleanly fit into a metric like job creation, because it's a lot of independent business people who are filing 1099s or Schedule Cs, and they're doing the work, and they're the boots on the ground actually creating value in what I see as the new economy for technology.
On average, they're going to be small employers and not necessarily getting the attention of the politicians, or the newspaper, so they're not going to be getting a lot of publicity.
Well, not only that, but a lot of these businesses are going to be much more ephemeral than a traditional, let's get 10,000 square feet and hire 20,000 different whatever. We're gonna partner with other organizations. We're gonna partner with people with skills. We're gonna do this and put a product out, and then they're gonna move on to their next thing, because that's the mindset.
The jobs are changing. People need to be prepared to change for that, and the community also needs to be prepared.
I agree. I mean, that's what Florida kind of talked about, the density of inventors, people who are creative. But at the same time, he did mention anchor tenants. That students recognize the name when they hear that company, and they go, oh, they just moved to Tampa, and they're hiring. That's that's kind of, you get the anchor tenant, you get the small guys, and you deal, Heather, with all of that?
Yes, well, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that we are dealing with, the struggle that all of our companies have, is they can't find the talent that they need. And so what we're doing is we're being very tactical, right? And we're saying, hey, listen, students actually don't know about the companies that are here. They've never heard of Tech Data. They don't know the Home Shopping Network is here. So we're actually putting kids on buses and taking them and touring them around companies.
High school?
No, these are college kids.
Cool.
Wow. And they don't know the pathways to careers. So we actually have a program right now that we just finished with Valpak. We're actually vetted interns and place them at Valpak, because we think that's so important, to your point about giving people the skill sets that they need, because it's impossible for universities to keep up with the pace of how quickly technology changes. You have to have that on the boots, like you said, on the ground knowledge of how to do the job.
But when you're looking at businesses that form and flow like that, that's where like Cowork Tampa can play as that anchor tenant, because they provide a place where you can get business services like attorneys and CPAs that can help you with the business side of things. You can get those app developers, the website guys, and they're all there working on their stuff, but
it's becoming more and more important to do that, because you really do have these coalitions of people. I'm a law firm, but I work with the software development firm. I'm a law firm, but I'm working with all these different people with a presentation company, and they don't work for me, but I give them work and they give me work, and it helps the whole economy.
The entrepreneur can't do it by themselves, right? It's never just one person, it's a team, right? Creating products and creating companies,
Okay,
so that's really important.
I hate to interrupt, but the communities that seem to be very successful at being recognized as, locations where good high-wage companies want to go, the places where young college kids, when they're thinking about where they want to live, the talent, say, well, I want to go there or that, they seem to work well together. They collaborate. Are there steps we can take, things we can do without trying to control anything? I'm going to go meet with Brad Feld in February, and I know I'm going to be very clear, we're the feeder as government, we're not the leader, but I do want to find out, are there ways even here where we can get this message out, we can provide information, so whatever you're looking for, if you're looking for the job, if you're looking for the talent, that's why we want you here, Fritz. You're going to be telling us each week, or however we're doing this, I think we're doing it every other Friday, what's going on with talent. We need to know more about our spaces, when our spaces are available, what are the classes that we've got so people can use them. We need to know about, all the activities that are going on in Tampa Bay. Is there a better way? Are we doing enough to get the word out?
No, everything's splintered. Heather brought about what the issues that tech companies are having having a hard time finding employees. Turnover is high, but not just local turnover. They're being attracted by out-of-state companies that they're having issues. You think if we're having issues, they're having issues in Austin, Charleston, Boston.
What type of issues?
Lack of talent, whether development talent, management talent. You've seen it in the last 2 years. I mean, I've seen record hiring in the last couple of years, but I've also seen major migration out of the community. I could probably start a group of people from Tampa that have moved to Seattle in recent months, to San Francisco, because they're being pitched those opportunities. You know, you've had an interesting time. So for the first time in a few years, people have choices.
Choices.
Better paying choices. Companies have to compete. You're not competing here locally.
Well, the goal here is to make Tampa Bay the choice.
Right.
And that's it. I mean, this is an amazing place where we for too long have been pushing the fact that we got sunshine and beaches, which is fabulous. And when it's -7 someplace else, this is a great place to be. I mean, your fingers aren't numb, so you can solder or whatever you got to do, or you can code.
You know, we're going to be about 79 degrees today and sunny, so
Yeah.
I like being here.
This is January, but
It's
we
great
got
being
smart.
here in that weather if you can afford it, if you got the job that gets you all the things that you want.
Or if you can make
For
it.
some people, they can't figure that out, and then they go elsewhere.
The course I
But there
teach,
is opportunity.
the course I teach at USF, I was there last night. 15 young students, honors college, all of them biomedical engineering, software engineering. They're all engineers. And I asked them, how many of you are thinking about staying in Tampa? And it was interesting. For the first time, I'm hearing, I want to stay in Tampa. I've asked that every year, and I always get from high school and college, I'm leaving. I want a cooler place. We're starting to develop that reputation. So that's what the objective here is, to look at what we can do more of to make this place a place where talent.
And we
wants
need
to
more
come.
hacker spaces. We need more of what we're doing. We just need to continue working hard
How
at it.
can we help
It's coming.
Hackerspaces? What
How
do you
can we
need?
help Hackerspace?
Spread the word.
We're trying to bring in as much as we can resource-wise. And you know, the three things that make us work are the education, the community, and the equipment and space. And bringing that together in a way that enables people to pursue. Nice.
Yeah, they're roasting. I mean,
So I'll pull this a little closer.
And this is I was going to bring in my jar. You can come to Buddy Brew, and you can get a jar of coffee. What's going to happen in March? They're building it out. We're going to have our own place. We're going to have a big screen. We're going to have more room, more guests, more information. I'm not trying to close this. How much time do we have left? Oh, we're out. Okay, so let me just say, we're going to be. If you got an idea, if you've got a company, if you've got something that you think would be of help, you want to contribute, we want you to come here. We want you to get involved with all the people around this table who are doing amazing things, making Tampa Bay #1. So this is one place you can come. Tampa Bay Tech Forum. Go to their webpage. It's just like loaded with cool stuff. There's lots of big activities. You get to meet some of the corporate chieftains, you know, that you read about in the paper. They're coming and speaking at these events. We've got hackerspaces. We've got consultants who do mentoring for all sorts of, startups. We've got lawyers, attorneys, and we got guys who can find you a job at Silicon Valley, but now he's going to find you a job here.
Do both.
And we got this guy who's got. Chris, did you tell him about your business? Chris is amazing. How old are you?
I just turned 30.
Just turned 30. Drives a car I can only dream of driving. Has a beautiful business, does marketing and media, and is doing great things in Tampa Bay. And I want to thank you for helping out Hackerspace.
Yeah, definitely. We're glad to have them. It works out with us very well. We're excited with all the different types of education that they're doing at the space. It's not your normal education you see at colleges. It's an alternative education that I believe strongly in. So we're happy to help them.
Well, you've done real well for yourself. Anybody got anything else to go to the order?
Thanks for having us.
All right, we're only beginning. This is going to get bigger. Ken.
My challenge to the community is these videos get a lot of good views, but people aren't reposting them. People aren't talking about what the discussions we're having here. So if you're watching this video, put it on your blog, tweet it out, put it on Facebook. Let's get this thing going a little bit more viral so more people both inside Tampa Bay and outside Tampa Bay know about this discussion, know about the resources that we have here, and know about the people around the table, so if they're in town, they can participate. If they're coming from out of town, they know where to come on Friday morning for coffee.
There's no excuse. You can't bitch that there's nothing to do in the IT community. So many choices. Great to see. Thanks.
We'll see you next Friday.